Welcome back to another Tuesday night shiur at Kilat L'Shem. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit about the parasha. How is it relevant to us? A little bit current events, tragedy that's going on in the community, and the true story behind Monday. Today is Monday. The true story about today. The parasha starts, Vayhi Miketz Shnatayim. And it was after 2 years, and Paro had a dream. After 2 years, Paro had a dream. What's going on over here? Paro had a dream. He was sleeping, and 7 big, fat, juicy cows, walking up by the Nile. Rashi says on the spot, why the Nile? What does the Nile have to do with anything? Because the Nile is the end and the beginning of the fats of Egypt. Egypt doesn't have any body of water. It's all through irrigation systems that the Egyptians had to create. And we all know the dream, 7 little cows that came, they ate the big cows. And he had a second dream with the wheat, 7 big bundles of wheat, and the small wheats came and they ate the big bundles of wheat. And Paro got up and he got shook. He didn't know what happened. What's going on? He got frightened. No? I would also get frightened. He calls all his Khartoumim, he calls all the magicians of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, you have to understand something. Mitzrayim was the head of all witchcraft. Anything that you can imagine that we have now, that was already in Mitzrayim. Maybe in a different form, but they already had it. It was already existing. And Paro calls everyone, and he tells them his dream. But when they gave him an interpretation, what did he say? I don't like it. It's not good. This is not the interpretation. This is not the interpretation. I'm going to ask you a question. The Gemara says that the dream goes after what? The interpretation. It's a Gemara Meforeshet. Why did Paro not accept the interpretation? That should be everyone's question. He didn't accept the dream. So the famous answer is because when he had a dream, he also had the interpretation. He didn't remember his interpretation. So the parasha continues and says that the butler came up to Paro and said, listen, Paro, I remember when I was in jail, I remember my sin that I did. There was a young man, a young fellow. He was a nice guy. And we had a dream. Me and the baker, we had a dream. And Paro, he explains to Paro how this Jew interpreted the dream, and exactly how he interpreted it, that's the way it happened. Paro right away, he didn't ask questions. He said, go get this Ivri. Get this boy. Right away, they go to the pit. They take out Yosef. It says in the Chumash, they washed him. They gave him a haircut. They groomed him up. You're going in front of a king. You're going to pray Shacharit, Mincha, and Arvit. You better not come with shorts. You better not come with ripped jeans. You're going to pray to Hashem. There's no exception. You better not come at Tsanua. You have to have tzniut. Side boys and girls going to talk to Hashem. They groom him up. They take him to the king. You can imagine the fear that's going through Yosef. He goes up and Paro says something unbelievable. He says, I heard that you can interpret dreams. And what does Yosef say? Something so beautiful. Paro, he thought he was God. Every Pharaoh thought he was a God. Every single Paro, they had the Gava. How do we know this? It says by Moshe Rabbeinu that Moshe Rabbeinu caught Paro where? Where did Moshe Rabbeinu catch Paro? By the river using the restroom. Why? Everyone thought Paro didn't need to use the restroom. He was a God. So Moshe Rabbeinu He's very chacham. He went exactly when Paro had to use the restroom in the morning, and he said, Habibi, I don't know what kind of a guy you are, but you have to use the restroom. You're not a god. You have a waist. Now, what did Yosef tell Paro? It is not me that gives the interpretation. Rather, Hashem, Elokim, shall guide me and give you the interpretation. Wow. Chayecha kodem, it says in halacha, you have to watch your soul. Is he not scared for his soul? Imagine telling a king that you're not my king. But what was Yosef? Ish emet. He didn't care what people are gonna say. He didn't care about politics. He didn't care about who's the head, who's the best. He cared about one thing. Emet, the truth. I want the truth. Okay. Paro didn't say anything, and he goes and he says his dream. And Yosef, again, he says it 3 times. But the second time he goes and he says, Hashem is giving you a sign. What is the sign? You can have a famine. You can have a time where there's going to be no abundance of Egypt. And that will be 7 years. And after those 7 years, the first 7 years you can have very fruitful. And after that, you'll have 7 years of no food. And again he says, your 2 dreams is really one dream. You're going to have a famine, and after that abundance of years, you're going to have a famine. And he starts to advise Paro that you should find someone with wisdom, that he should gather all the grain in Mitzrayim, and he should store it for the 7 years of famine that's going to happen. And Paro gets up, because at the end of the day, you have to understand something. Sheker, a lie, in lo raglaim, it says. It has no feet. Shin, kuf, and resh, they're not like emet. Aleph, mem, and taf, they all, if you look at the aleph bet, they have 2 feet, they have a ground. Sheker doesn't have, it falls at the end. Paro fell in the hands of Yosef. He physically fell in the hands of Yosef. Now this is very important to what this is all a build up to what I'm really trying to say. And he changed his name to Asnat Panea. Okay. What does that mean? That nothing could be hidden from your eyes. That's what it means. Rashi says, you are the revealer of secrets. That's Yosef. He reveals all the secrets. And he gets married to who? Osnat Bat Patifar. Now we all know the story of Osnat, how she really got to Egypt. She was really the child of who? Does anyone know? Of Dinah and Shechem ben Hamor. Shechem ben Hamor and Dinah, they had a child. But it was an embarrassment child. So Yaakov Avinu took this baby, he put her in a basket, he went up to a mountain, and he prayed, and he put a kamea. Kamea is an amulet around her neck. And an eagle came, took the baby, and brought it to the doorsteps of Potiphar. Not Pharaoh, but Potiphar. And how do we know this? Because Potiphar couldn't have kids. He was gay. He liked the same gender. Disgusting, right? But that's what he was. And that's why Eshet Potiphar, most people don't know this, why did she really want to be with Yosef? She saw in the stars that someone from my household has to marry him. But who was it really? Osnat. That's who it really was. And the Midrash says that all the women of Egypt were throwing flowers at him, and he can't marry a Goya. I should marry a Goya. And she said, she took off her kamea, she had long hair, and she threw it at him, and he saw the kamea, he saw Shem before us. She said, who is this? And she said, it's me. And he said, I'm going to marry him. Now, can you take that embarrassment? The man that put you in jail, the woman that wanted to be with you, you marry their daughter. Now that's a real gangster. Right? Soon it's going to be tomorrow's a shiur about who's the real gangster, right? Kosher boys? Someone tell him this shot. Yosef is the real gangster. He marries the person that put him in jail, and the woman that wanted to sleep with him, he marries their daughter. My brothers, for me, that's the illest gangster around. So let's go weiter. We have to continue. We have to continue. And he has 2 kids. Who does he have? Who is his oldest son's name? Does anyone know? Menashe. Menashe, the pasuk says, why? Because Hashem, you gave me a gift of forgetting. I forgot the pain of my father's house. You know what it is? To have a father and to have a brother, 11 brothers, but 10 brothers that hated him. The worst feeling in the world. Everyone that you ever looked up to, they bashed you. They made you feel like garbage. He said, thank you, Hashem, that I'm forgetting. I forgot this pain. Not only that pain, how his brother sold him, how he was a slave, how he went to jail. Imagine all that experience, and he still had it in him to have appreciation. You want to know why? Because he was a person of emet. He was a person of true. He knew what was right and he knew what was wrong. He knew that if I'm right here in Mitzrayim now, I had to be here. That was who? Yosef. And his second son, he named Ephraim. Why Ephraim? Because I became very fruitful in the land that I am. Yosef, anywhere that he went, he had bracha. Anywhere he touched, whatever he had success. But how did he get that success? He went through a lot of pain. That's a reality. When someone wants to be great, remember, if he doesn't get smacked around, he's not going to become great. It's a cycle of life. Your pain in your life causes you to become stronger. It's not that the problems make you weaker, it's the problems make you stronger. Don't ever forget that. The most crucial year of your marriage is the first year. Majority of people get divorced when? On the first year. If they would know that they would have to have patience for the first year and everything would by itself settle down, they would never get divorced. Let's continue with the parasha. Yosef, he goes, he's the head of Mitzrayim, he's in second in command. He goes, he puts all the grain houses, he opens grain houses, he fills them up. He puts wheat, not the weed, but the wheat. He fills them up and he closes it. He makes it a big abundance to the land of Mitzrayim. He makes a big abundance and suddenly, what happened? There was a famine. Now, from this part of the parasha until the end of next week, or really the beginning of next week, if you don't cry one time when you read the parasha, you have no heart. Your heart is made out of stone. This week, Yaakov Avinu tells his sons, I heard that there is abundance in the land of Mitzrayim. Go down and go bring food. Go bring food for us. We're in Eretz Yisrael, we're in Eretz Canaan at the time, and there's no food. Go down and bring me food. So the brothers are all getting prepared. Binyamin's first venture, he's excited. Suddenly, Yaakov says, not you. I lost your mother, I lost your brother, and I'm not going to lose you. You're staying with me at home. You know that there's always that one child that's always at home? You know? I'm going to go out with my friends. No, you're staying at home. It's a genetic thing from Yaakov Avinu, Rabbi Isai. So don't blame your parents. Yaakov Avinu was the same way. And he stayed, and all the brothers are going down to Mitzrayim. Now, right away, the Midrash says that they all went through different entrances in Egypt. They didn't go together. Why? Because down in their heart, deep down, they had a guilt. What was their guilt? Maybe Yosef's still alive. Maybe if we split up, we'll find him. Maybe he's cleaning some. Maybe he's in the Beit Bosh. Maybe he's a garbage man. Maybe he's cleaning after the Zonot. Well, let's try to find him. Let's separate. Let's try to find him. And right away, Menashe was the head of the bookkeeping. He saw the names Reuven ben Yaakov, Shimon ben Yaakov. He saw all of his uncles are in Egypt. Wow, what a thrill. No, time to do revenge. Wouldn't anyone say that? Well, we would all say that. Don't lie to yourselves. Don't be some tzaddik suddenly. Oh, I would not do that. You would want to do revenge, no? Yes. Now I'm going to take care of them. They came to my territory. They came to my house. You know, when you play basketball or any sport, what's the best thing for the people? When you play at home court. You know, it's my court. Yes. I'm going to have excitement. Yosef right away heard. Yosef wasn't with the people. He would stay home, learn Torah. Suddenly he heard what? He heard what? His brothers are here. Right away he wore his libush malchut. He wore his nice clothes and he goes out to greet who? His brothers. He was hoping that they should recognize him. But how old was he when he was sold? He was 17. Like Ben Zion, no facial hair, 17. Nothing. Until 19, right? Nothing. He didn't have no facial hair. Suddenly, he goes and he sees them and they don't recognize him. How would you feel? At least feel good. Recognize me. I'm overpowering you now. Right away, the Chumash says he remembers. What does he remember?
The dreams.
He remembers his dreams. He remembers his dreams. What was his dream? That the 11 bundles would come and they would bow down to him. So was he a dreamer? No. It was a reality. They came and they bowed down to him. And not that they just bow down to him. They mitchanen, they were pleading. They're like, when he said, you guys are spies. Spies? We came to get bread for our father. And that's when he said, is your father still alive? Boom. First minus. We're going to get into the next week's parasha. No? He went and he said, Lama said, to make the story a little short, he said, all of you going to jail. You guys are spies. Thank you. You guys are spies. You're all going to jail. Now, over here is the most emotional part. Usually you read it very fast. They're in jail. Now the brothers are having a conversation. They're having a conversation. They didn't know this is Yosef. No one knew the language of their fathers. And Reuven got up and said, I told you not to spill our brother's blood. I told you not to hurt him. And now Hashem's taking revenge. Now, at the epitome of our pain, Hashem is coming to take us. Because we touched an innocent 17-year-old boy that doesn't know anything in his life. We are his brothers. We had to be his guide. And instead we sold him. And Yosef turns around and starts to weep. He starts to cry. Just imagine that. Wanting to tell your brothers that I'm alive and in the same time not able to tell. And the Midrash says, the Chumash says, he takes Shimon, he tells his son. Now the Yalkut Mamnoes, which is I think in a must book for everyone, it's a set, says that in jail they had a little fight. Khabib and who else? What's the other one? McGregor. Yimach Shemam, Beit Zechram, both of them, both anti-Semitics. Yimach Shemam. Yishmael and Esav, right there. Shimon and Levi two tempered people. They're like, listen, Habibi, we don't have time for this Mitzrayim. You get this guy, I get that guy. We'll call it a day. We'll do a KO to everyone. We're done. We'll just leave. Now Yosef goes to his son Menashe and he says, look, they think they can take us. Davai. Menashe goes to Shimon, 5-star. Bah! Shimon didn't know what hit him. What happened? This can't be. They're too strong. They're too strong. And he wasn't able to fight. He wasn't able to fight them. And he took them. And he took him. There's another midrash that says that they didn't fight. Shimon said quiet because he knew what? Now is his time of punishment. Why they took Shimon? Who was the one that gave the idea to kill Yosef? Shimon said, take this boy and kill him. We don't need him. Let's finish with him. He goes, he takes Yosef, he comes back to his brothers after 3 days and he says, here's your money. Not here's your money. He gave them food. He said, I'm going to release your brother Shimon on condition that you bring Binyamin. I want to know if you're lying or if you're not lying. If you're Ish Emet or you're not Ish Emet. I want to know. And they tried pleading with him. Our father will never let. He said, that's it. End of conversation. He goes down. They open the bags. They were traveling. They wanted to eat. What did they see? Their money. Oy vavoy. Now we're going to get framed. Framed for what? For taking the money. They were all scared. Imagine what fear you would have. One brother is stuck over there. The other one is stuck to his father. Or we have the money. What's going on? They go back to their father's house and they tell him the whole story. What's the first thing Yaakov said? Who told you to talk about Binyamin? Why are you opening your mouth? For what? For who? Who let you? Right away Reuven said, if I don't bring Binyamin back, you can take my sons. He said, you fool. Your sons are my sons. These are my grandkids. Yehuda gets up and says, I promise you to give you my olam haba if I don't bring him back. Right away, Yaakov said, deal. No problem. If you're willing to take such a big responsibility, then no problem. Now this is the pasuk I'm going to get into, which everyone really skips because no one knows the value of this pasuk. Vayomer aleim Yisrael. We read this every day in Korbanot. Right after Pitom HaKetorah, there's small words. What is the small words? Yaakov Avinu tells his sons to take 6 different kinds of fruits and to bring it as gifts to Afsnat Panea, to Yosef, not knowing that it's Yosef. And what does he say in the pasuk? Who take mizimrat haaretz? Unklu says on the spot, take from the fat of the land. What kind of talking is this? Say, take fruits. Take some snacks. Take from the fat of the land? What kind of lashon is this? And he gives them 6 different fruits. Why 6? There's no coincidence, Habibi. Never was, never will be. Why 6? So, I'm going to have to break it down to you. There's a book called Ohev Yisrael from the Abdarav. I was thinking today to talk about something totally different. Totally different. I was very heated up after what happened yesterday. Very heated. I said, I'm going to have to bombard. I can't. But what happened? I lit the Hanukkah candles. I saw the 3 candles. I saw the shamash. I said, how can I be upset? The story of Hanukkah is the story of what happened last week on Thursday. Now I'm going to tell you what happened. Morai v'Rabotai, anything and most of the things you heard, unfortunately, is pure nonsense. Pure. There was a boy, his name was David Paltielov. He was an everyday student of mine for Kimat 3 years. Kimat, more or less. This year, for sure, every single day, he was in yeshiva, he was in my class. If I can explain to you what kind of righteous person he is, I would not be able to end. He comes davening, comes on time, puts on his tefillin, he davens. He's not like those kids that want to be bad. He's a kid that knows what he wants. He wants to be a mechanic after high school. He already he has a set goal. He's not stuck with some mobs, with some gangs, shtuyot that people say. Last year, if you remember the fight that happened last year, that everyone was talking about, he was not even there, Kimat. He's trying to stay as far as possible. That's what we're talking about. That Thursday, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihiyah b'dvaro. That Thursday, the day before, on Wednesday, he said, Rabbi, I'm not coming to school. Why? I have a road test. He told me. Okay. I told him, don't forget to put on your tzitzit, to have your kippah 24/7, and don't forget to put on your tefillin, and so on and so forth. He said, no problem, Rabbi. I promised you I'm going to go pray. I'm going to wear my tefillin. I'm going to put on my tzitzit. I'm going to put on my kippah. I want to pass this road test. Okay. He passed his road test. 5 o'clock. He said, I'm going to meet up with my friends. I'm excited, I remember the first time I passed. The only time, but when I passed my road test, how excited were we? We were very excited. That's it. We're going to drive. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Until 5 months later, we never want to drive again because we're everyone's taxi driver. But he was excited. So he was in a store called Munch Place. He walks out of Munch Place. He started walking down towards Citibank. And his friend said, I'm going to meet you in Munch Place. Go back to Munch Place. Now, right now, he's in front of Tikva. He's in front of Tikva, the meat store. He's walking, he starts to turn back. Suddenly, out of nowhere, and I have a video of this, out of nowhere, I found the video, mamish, out of nowhere, someone in the back gives him a nice punch. Now let me explain something to you. David is not a small guy. He's basar, he has meat. The guy has bones, he has a muscle. If that would have happened to me, personally me, I wouldn't be here today. I would not be here today. And I'm going to explain to you why. After the kid got his punch, close to 30 to 25 people were holding a car and they were stomping on him. Rabbi said, you know what it means to get stomped on? People die on Black Friday because they get stomped on. I'm not joking with you. He got stomped on like an elephant. Chanukah? Shimon passed away, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the Maccabim, I think it was Shimon. An elephant stepped on him and he died. He was stomped on like a dog. Here I had another friend next to him, big. He was so frightened. He saw so many people. The kid was already on the floor. There was nothing you can do about it. Don't try to be heroes. I hear many people, if I was there, you wouldn't do jack. You would run for your life. You would pick up your underwear and you would run. You would run. I don't care who you are. You would see 30 heads. First of all, there were more than 30 people there. But if you would see just 30 people there, you would run for your life. And that's what the kid did. He ran to the closest store and he He was shaking, couldn't say a word. They stomped on him. Did they slash him? I'm not going to say that they cut him. I don't think so. I think they took their brass knuckles and they punched him so hard in the head that it opened his head. He had stitches here. He had stitches here. I was there when he got his stitches. I was in the emergency room helping the nurse put on his stitches. And not just me. I'm not going to take the credit. Rabbi Babachai was there and Rabbi Levi Mushai was there. We dropped everything. I tell you how I found out. I just got home. I walked from 71st Continental home. I don't like to take the train or the bus. I don't have an extra car. I walked home. Suddenly, a kid that I used to teach calls me. He says, Rabbi G, no, you have a kid in your school called David Paltielov? Yeah. He got shot. Now, no, at that moment, no one knew really what happened. I said, what? I said, thank you, I'll call you later. I hung up the phone. The first person I called was Rabbi Babachayev. Rabbi Babachayev, on the spot, he called his mother. His mother hysterically was crying and said, my son's in the hospital, my son's in the hospital. Right away, Rabbi Babachayev, we had an occasion to go that day. We dropped everything. We dropped everything, literally. And we went straight to the hospital. Rav Akiva, to all the big tzaddikim and Talmidei Chamim out there. When his Talmud was not feeling well, he went to do Bikur Cholim Ba'atzmo B'chvodo. And he took a shvabra, he took a broom, and he swept his Talmud's house. We have all the Torah we have is from Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva went himself to sweep his student's house. Why? He said a person heals better when this place is clean. Ba'atzmo, he went to clean. How many of our Talmidei Chamim went to visit this kid? It's our problem! It's our kid! Who cares for him? I have to care for him? Who am I? I'm nobody in this community. I'm a dust. I'm afar ve'efer. This is nonsense. One rabbi went yesterday. Ashrav chelko. He went. If something in Eretz Yisrael would happen like this, the Prime Minister would go. The Rav Rashi would go. Gava you have? You have Gava? You don't visit another kid that got stomped on? Now I'm going to explain to you what happened yesterday. Yesterday they made a nice meeting. I don't know who heard about it, who didn't hear about it. The truth is the truth. We have to learn from Yosef to say the truth. There was a meeting. And in the meeting, there were a lot of council members. There was the second in command of the police department. I'm not going to say the first. I think he's the second. And people from a department of Bureau, some other big head of the government. And they came and they wanted to discuss the case, what was going on. And they sat down. And I have the recording, the real recording, not the video of half of it that was going on, but the whole thing. And this is how they started. They started saying there was a fight happened on Wednesday, and because of that fight on Wednesday, it happened a retaliation on Thursday, and because of that, something happened on Friday. And they continued only talking about which day? Friday. They forgot about Thursday. They were too worried about Friday. And not only did they not say the truth, because on Wednesday, you know who got beaten up? Jewish people. What retaliation is that? A retaliation in the dictionary means doing revenge for something that happened previously. What revenge were they doing if the Jews didn't do anything? So they finished talking, the police department. Now whoever knows me knows me. I'm not going to keep my tongue quiet for anything. If I see a problem, I say it as it is. I don't get paid by the people, and I'm not a puppet of the people. I do what the Torah says, and I don't move from it. That's my mahalach. That's what my Rabbeim taught me. That's what my father taught me, and that's the way I go. I got up. Now, my colleagues, they told me, they said, they already knew that I'm not gonna be quiet, but they asked me very politely. They said, just from a tone 10, do it a tone 3. Because your tone 3 is a regular tone 10. So I said, that I have no problem doing. The police commissioner didn't even have the respect to stand up when he was telling this story. Can you believe that? Chutzpah esgeh. I stood up, the first person, I stood up and I said, what is going on over here? Not in those words. I said, how come we're missing the focus here? Why are we talking about Friday? What about Thursday? Why are you not saying this is a hate crime? Morai Rabotai, anti-Semitism this whole week. I don't know if you've been hearing. I just got a video that what happened in Florida, that a police sheriff, second in command, took a Jewish Torah and he said this is garbage and he threw it out. The police department in Miami said this. Do you know what's going on? I don't think you understand. I don't know why we're not waking up. Do you not see the next Holocaust walking into our doors? Well, we live in America. So what? We lived in Germany. We were the best. We were doctors. We were lawyers. We were in the Senate. What about all the other pogroms we had? Spanish Inquisition. We were on top. The Abarbanel. They didn't want to excommunicate the Abarbanel. He was the head of finance. You know what he said? These are my people, and I'm gonna go with my people. And why am I upset? I'll tell you why I'm upset. I'll tell you why. Because we have leaders in this community that are suck-ups. In order to stay in power, they have to suck up to the people of the government. Mul Enai, I saw this. You call yourselves Rabbanim? Rasha Merusha you are. Your own son would be in the hospital. Would you suck up to someone? You would go, you would fight. You call yourself a rabbi? A rabbi is a person for the people, not a person for the pockets. You give yourself your own respect. And that's why I'm standing up today. I know I'm going to get fired for this. I'm going to get such a fire. I'm going to get such a fire that they're going to want to even kill me. But you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm going to talk the truth. You want to know why? Because the people are behind me, not behind them. The people want to know why. The people want to stop the anti-Semitism. The people want to know the truth. Why can't my son or daughter walk on the street safely? Why? And that's why I'm saying this. The people have to understand, stay on the right side of the team. And if we're not going to get any answers, Morai Rabotai, we have to make a riot. We have to make a protest. Not violently, peacefully, but we have to make a protest. If this would happen to one goy, I don't want to even swear, but I would, if I would be able to. You would see the reverend, the sheriff, the whoever it is, or the bolo, the bitar, they would all get up and they would scream, Black Lives Matter, Spanish people matter, immigration, they would all run, they would jump. Why are we so scared? I don't understand this. How are we different than them? I want you to know something. If the Jews leave America, America's done. It's finished. It's literally going to go down the drain. Like every single big civilization. Trump said it himself. Wherever the Jews go, there's bracha. Why don't we now waking up? And I told this to one of our Jewish Bukharian brothers. I said, what you're doing is a big mistake. The council members and the people of the government need you more than you need them. They need your votes. They need your peace. You do one balagan, they'll put their heads down and beg you to stop. But when you go to Esav and you beg him, that's where you're wrong. You're not allowed to beg to Esav. Yaakov has to go with his head high. Has to walk strong. We're Bnei Yaakov, we're not Esav. That's my message to everyone here and whoever's going to watch this. And I hope those people see it. There was one rabbi that was Ish Emet, that unfortunately I'm saying this. I think, Ba'avonot Harabim, that a lot of the rabbis are not in fault. Their communities make them, they are controlled by the people, by the bad people. There are certain groups that call themselves Charedim, but they're in charge of all the bad. And that rabbi came to me privately, he hugged me and kissed me and he said, you said emet. Everyone else that got up in that meeting was talking about their self-pride. Or talking about their own self-pride. If you look at the video that was going on, why did Rabbi Levi stop speaking and he sat down? Think for a second, why did he leave? Why did he stop? The police commissioner got so embarrassed with our comments, he got up and he left with another big person at that table to speak about their private issues. Wait a second, I'm going to ask you a question. Right now this gathering was about what? It was about this kid. Also a whole bunch of other stuff, the safety of the community. We want answers about him. Have the audacity to listen to the father. Have the audacity to listen to the mother. Until we didn't stop, he didn't walk back in. And then he said the story again. That's how we have to stand. We have to not move our feet. We have to stand strong, and that was a proof to them. In their own meeting, Hashem showed them. Hashem gave them one smack on the right and one smack at the left. You think you're going to run after them, they're going to do good for you? No. You shut your mouth, you stand high, they're going to come back to you. They're going to come back and beg for you. They want the peace more than you want the peace. No police officer wants to be in the hospital. When the people show Achdut, when we as a community, we have such a, I'm very against people that say we don't have Achdut. We have the most Achdut, this community. We just don't have a shepherd to guide us. We need one guy that's not connected to the politics, that's not connected to the media, that's not connected to anything, that's a people's person. A leader has to be a people's person. He needs to stand up and say, I'm fighting for the truth. I'm fighting for the emet. I'm going for my people, for my brothers. They don't have that in Germany, unfortunately. We need to have it here. Tomorrow, God forbid, someone's going to knock on your door and say, come on, I'm going to kill all you Jews. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I want to know. You're going to die. We can prevent this. We could really prevent it if we stand together. And the Jews in the Holocaust that fought back, they survived. They don't write that in the stories. All those Jews that were hiding in the forest and in the ghettos, they fought back. They got guns. I'm not telling you to get guns. I know, I said guns. I said you can go viral, get guns. I'm not saying to get guns. I'm not saying to get brass knuckles. I'm not saying to get knives. I'm not saying to get ice picks. I'm not saying to get lockers. I know all what people use to kill people. I'm not saying to do any of that. I'm saying to stand strong for what you believe. If you believe to suck up is the way to win, then continue doing it. But if you think to stand strong and to go to your community leaders, which is your Rabbanim, Ha'emet, and to say, we need Aleph, Bet, and Gimel to be done, then know you will have success. In the beginning, Yosef, they scram at him. They almost killed their own brother because they wanted to be politically correct, the brothers. Yosef said, no, doesn't go this way. Yes, Yosef had his own minuses, but he stood for what he stand for. And that's why he ended up to be the highest of his brothers. And you know why Yaakov Avinu gave 6 gifts? Because Yosef is connected what? The Yisod. The Ohev Yisrael says, it's not me. Why does it say he gave from the fat of the land? The Ohev Yisrael says, because the tzaddik of the people, the person that is righteous in the land, there's only bracha from the land because of the tzaddik. Rav Levi Yitzchak, the previous Lubavitch Rebbe's father, writes in this parasha that Yaakov Avinu knew that there was some sort of tzaddik in Mitzrayim. He saw that the Rapach Nitzotzot were going up. He saw it go up. He said, take these 6 things. There's someone over there holding the fort. How we in the shul holding the fort from that place? You'd be surprised. We're holding the fort from that place. We're holding it. He said, don't be scared. There's someone over there playing with the role of Yisod. Go. We have to be that Yosef. We need to stand up. We need to be the tzaddikim. We need to get up. We need to stay strong for our brothers. We need to take mitzvot upon ourselves for Refuah Shlema of this boy. This boy, I didn't go visit him yet when he was up. But I heard from my other Talmidim that visit him. He's doing much better, Baruch Hashem. And you know what? It had to happen to him. It had to happen. It had to. He did the exact correct preparation for it to happen to him. He went to daven. He put on his tzitzit. He prayed. He had Yirat Shamayim that day. Everything was a preparation for what? For his road test? No, for that accident. Hashem plays the game, not you. Not a one broken bone, Baruch Hashem, on that kid's body. Not one broken bone. Do you know what kind of miracle that is? I don't think you can understand that. If 10 kids would stomp on you, you would have something broken. He didn't have one, not even one. That's called a Nes. That's Nes Chanukah! We have to stand strong. The community should go visit him. Yeah, I know it doesn't make a difference, you think. The kid feels a nachad ruach. The parents feel connected to their community then. The father was so upset yesterday. Why they're not talking about my son? Chas shalom. How about, God forbid, it would be one of our relatives? We would want that. The only reason why it happened on Friday, the way it happened, which is good it happened on Friday, those are real Maccabim. Those kids that got arrested, Ashrechem, Ashrechem Kichem. You stand up for your brother. Those are real men. They stood up, they said no. Why should one of us be in the hospital? Why? Why do we have to wait for death? Give the trufah before the makkah. Give the medicine before the problem. We can defend our community. We could. We have the manpower. But why to wait for such a destruction? We need to be b'achdut. We need to hold yad b'yad. And that's why Yaakov gave those gifts to his brother, to his sons. He gave those gifts. He said, you're going now to epitome of zima, of garbage. You only need one thing that's going to save you. It's going to be the Yisod. And that's why he gave him 6 things. If you do the numerical value of Yosef, it's 6 times Shem Havaya. 6 times Yud Kei Vav Kei is the gematria of Yosef. And when you walk in the Achdut, when you walk together, I didn't take drugs yet. I didn't do it. I'm not high. I promise to you. I'm telling you this out of my heart. I don't want to see none of us again in the hospital. I don't want to see it. God forbid if you would be in the hospital, I don't know what I would do. Any of you, I don't know what I would do. For a teacher to see a student like that, find me other teachers like this. Day in and day out, call, phone calls, talk to the... He was here earlier in the shiur. Who called me? A detective called me. Why? Because Hashem knows this person cares about these people. I didn't choose this mission. I didn't choose this. Hashem made me be born in this family. Your mission chooses you. You don't need to choose it. Rabbi, what's my tikkun? You know what your tikkun is? The way your life leads you, that's your tikkun. You don't need to go to babas, to rabbis that to take money to tell you what's your future. Your future's in your hands. David was waking it up to everybody. I'm going to finish with this. Morai Rabotai, whoever's listening, I don't mean to be harsh. All I'm trying to say is we have to do tshuva. Me, myself included. Also you, whoever's listening, you also have to do tshuva. There's no one that's clean. There's no one I don't care how big your beard is. I don't care how big your hat is. I don't care what kind of following you have. I don't care how many books you wrote. It's irrelevant. Shabtai Tzvi also wrote books. You know that. Mashiach Sheker wrote books too. I'm going to finish with the skula. We read a certain Mizmor Tehillim after we light the Chanukah candles. Does anyone know what Mizmor that is? Bring me the Siddur, please. Yeah. Perek Tzadik Aleph. Perek Tzadik Aleph, we read a certain Tehillim. When else do we read this Tehillim? Chanukah, Motzei Shabbat. Does anyone know when else we read this Tehillim? No. When a person dies. Does anyone know why we read this specific Tehillim? I heard from Rav Mordechai Eliyahu that if a person has a kishuf, a black magic on him, he should read this specific Tehillim frontwards and backwards, and guarantee your kishuf will go away from you. You better read that Tehillim when you're in front of the Hanukkah candles. The minhag is to read it 7 times according to the Ashkenazim. According to the Mukubalim, we read it 1 time. I advise you to read it 1 time one way and the exact opposite the other way. I'm not crazy. I just care. Accuse me for caring, I don't mind. Accuse me for being crazy, I mind. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.